All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Like I said, Bree is with her kids tonight, so I'm playing Bree so we could record this call because I know for anyone who could not be on tonight, you are going to want to have this recording. If you're on tonight, you're still going to want to have this recording. I have been so excited about this. Bree and I were chatting last week and I was like, we need to get Megan on a call. I loved it. So many of you guys were at convention last week, and I know several of you attended Megan's breakout group that she did. And fun fact, Megan's breakout session that she did was one of the only ones that completely sold out, was completely full. And my girls were just filling our chat up with all the goodness that they took away. Megan is the master of vision casting and goal setting. And here's what I want you to know. I talked to my team a little bit about this today. I really, truly believe that for so many people, it is never the skill set that is lacking. I feel like the skills that it takes to work this business, you can figure out. I very much trained myself in this business through YouTube and people who had been successful and watching the skills that it took. But really what I think so many people are lacking is a clear vision. What do you see? And the thing about vision is that it is different for every single person. Like what you are looking for out of this business is going to be different from what anybody else is looking for out of this business. And until you are super clear on what your vision is, what you need for your family, what you want for your family, that's going to be the ticket to what sees you to success. When you know the why, then you are more willing to figure out the how. And what I love is even just this last week, I had a little heart to heart with Megan, and she even challenged me on this, on getting really clear on my vision now and where I'm at in this business. And until I get clear on my own vision, that I'm not going to be able to take this to the next level myself. And so I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her. Before we do this, I didn't even tell Megan about this, but my sweet friend Emily, she's a senior gold on my team. And if you don't know Megan, Megan is pregnant, and she is pregnant with her fourth baby. And she just had to go to the emergency room on Friday because she was having some complications and some bleeding. And my sweet senior gold, she messaged me and she said, before Megan speaks tonight, would it be okay if I pray over her and I pray for her baby? And so, Emily, I'm gonna let you unmute yourself because I thought that was the sweetest thing ever. Like I'm literally about to cry right now. I thought that was the sweetest thing ever. So I'm gonna let Emily pray over pray over Megan and pray for her baby. And then I'm gonna turn it over to Megan.
All right, guys, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we know that you are good and that all things work together for good for those who love you. And I know that Megan loves you and that she trusts you with her health and with her well-being, and with the well-being of this precious baby you have blessed her with. Thank you for being a good God who is willing and able to comfort us in all our afflictions. Thank you for being a God of peace. I pray that your peace that passes all understanding will guard Megan's heart and mind as she waits for her next appointment. And Father, thank you for being our great physician. I pray that you will give Megan's doctors wisdom and discernment as they seek the cause of her bleeding and work to remedy it. I pray that you will bring healing to Megan and that her bleeding will stop, and that the remainder of her pregnancy will have no issues. I pray for protection over the beautiful life that you have knit together in Megan's womb, and that this child in this circumstance will bring you all the glory and be a testimony of your goodness and grace. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So sweet, Emily. All right, Megan, I'm gonna let you take it away from here.
Well, I didn't think that I would be starting out the call crying. I mean, I figured that would happen at some point during the call, but did not think that we would start out at that point. So, Emily, that was so sweet. Thank you. You have no idea how much that blessed me. So I'm going to pull it together so that we can get started tonight. But you guys, that's like, even that right there is just such a testament to what we have in Plexus and the community that we have, that like above all else, everyone's like, we're here for you. right? And the messages that I've been getting today and the prayers, and it's like, that's what it's about, right? This Plexus is the community that I never ever knew that I needed. I didn't know that that was missing in my life until I became a part of this. And I was like, how did I go my whole life without this? Like, I could never imagine a day without it now that I'm here where I am. And so thank you so much for that, Emily. And so I want to, a lot of you guys see my story now. You see me in chapter 20. You see me as a diamond, and you're like, wow, things must just be so easy for her. Like, she must have just naturally been able to build this business, and she just totally had what it took. And, you know, all these different kinds of stories that we like to tell ourselves to try to make ourselves feel better about maybe why we're not as far along as we thought that we would be by now, right? Have you ever been in a place where you're like finding all these reasons about why all these other people
Alexis, Angie just
success must have been so much easier for them than it is for you? But we're just lying to ourselves. We're just coming up with excuses. We're just coming up with reasons to make us feel good about certain things that we've done or haven't done or things like that. And so I want to take you guys back to the very beginning, because I want you to have a full grasp on where I started. Hey, Bethany, can you mute iPhone 3? Okay. So when I got started with this, you guys, first of all, I was very skeptical. Okay. Like, my husband and I used to make fun of these products. We were like, this stuff is ridiculous. And we were not on board right away. Okay. We were in a space financially that was not good. Okay. He had been unexpectedly let go from his job when I was 20 weeks pregnant with our second baby, and it was the week of my best friend's wedding. It was terribly timed. And we had what we thought was a really stable job for him, all of a sudden taken away from us. So it was like these things, the safety net, the security that we thought that we had, all of a sudden it was gone. And so I don't know if you've ever found yourself in a situation like that, but it can really rock your world. And so for the next year, we were really struggling. Our kids ended up on Medicaid, but on top of that, we had $100,000 in student loan debt hanging over our heads. So even if we were to get out of the situation that we were in, we were like, when are we ever going to be able to do all the things that we dreamed about? Like, we're in survival mode. So let's say we get out of this gloom and doom situation. Now we have $100,000 hanging over our heads. Like, we just didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It seemed impossible to dream. So when I hear people introduce me and they're like, Megan is the queen of vision casting, I'm like, you guys, that I did not start at that place. Where I started from was a space of feeling very uninspired, feeling like I did not have a vision for my life, because all the things that my husband and I had dreamed about when we first got married seemed so far off in the distance. And it was like, yeah, well, nobody ever really gets to do the things that they want in life, right? Nobody ever really gets to accomplish their dreams. But I'm sitting here with you today, right now. We have crossed off our dream board 3 times over. I am literally living my dream life right now that I imagined in my mind, that I visualized, and then I ran after it, and I didn't let anything stop me. Did I have hiccups along the way? Of course I did. Did I have roadblocks that tried to deter me? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I went back to, what is that vision? What is that thing that I want for my family, right? So when we first started, our kids are on Medicaid. We have $100,000 in student loan debt. And on top of that, I had no business skills. You guys, when we got married, I told my husband, hey, I just want you to know I'm never going to work. I said, I want to stay at home and raise babies, and I'm never going to have a job. So like, don't expect that. I also would like to be well kept. And he was totally fine with that. My only work experience was that I had worked as a barista in college for 6 months. So if you would like to count that as work experience, that's the only thing that I had to put on my resume was barista for 6 months. So it wasn't looking good for me to be able to come in and run a really successful business. I had also already tried a few other network marketing companies before. One, I lost $600. Another one, I was making about $200 a month, but really, I mean, that was not gonna make a dent in the $100,000 that we had going on. Okay. And so it was not looking good for me. I also did not have a very large social media presence. I was on social media, but basically it was like my mom and my aunt and my best friend who would like the things that I posted. Nobody really cared about what was going on. I wasn't inspiring people. I wasn't being positive Polly. I wasn't being like real and authentic. I wasn't sharing all these things. I was just kind of showing up there, would randomly share about my kids. It wasn't like I came in and then all of a sudden I found tons of people. I started doing this and it took me 5 months to find my first 3 people. That is not the person that you're like, she is going to be a diamond. I just know it. Like, took her 5 months to find 3 people. She's got it. She has absolutely got it. But I had people who believed in me. And you have people who believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. But what's going to make the biggest difference is when you can transfer that belief from them to you, when you can grab hold of it for yourself and you're no longer reliant on somebody else to tell you that they believe in you, that you don't need their words for you to show up, that you're going to show up and you appreciate their words and they're kind and they're encouraging, but you don't need those words from other people to show up and pursue your dreams. You have a why that is so deep, that is so passionate, that you're going to show up regardless of if anyone's cheering you on, regardless if somebody's coming to you and saying, you're doing such a great job. I see you doing the work. If no one was there saying those things to you, would you still be showing up the way that you know that you need to? It has to be like an internal belief, an internal drive that says, I am going to do this. There is no, this would be really nice to have this happen, or I really hope that this happened, or I would love to be emerald. I would love to be diamond. It would be nice to be those things. It can't be that. It has to be, I am this. I will be this. There is no back door. There is no in and out. I'll just give it a try. I have had about 5 calls this week, and I know it's only Monday. I've had about 5 calls already this week with people that we've gotten on a call and we're running this accountability group, and they're like, well, I think I'll give it a try. And I said, we're just going to stop right there. I said, we are removing the words I will try out of your vocabulary because you're setting yourself up to fail. There is no trying here. There is no, I will try to be successful at this. Either you're going to do this or you're not. There is no middle ground. You can't give yourself that back door that says, well, I'm going to give it a try. All you're doing is setting yourself up for when you don't hit your goals to say, I didn't really give it my all anyway. When you know that you wanted to give it your all, but you didn't. So we're not going to give ourselves excuses. We're not going to give ourselves a way out. We're going to say, no, I'm going to do this. And it doesn't matter where you started from. It doesn't matter what other people have said about you in your past. It doesn't matter what other people have believed about you. It doesn't matter what you have thought about yourself. It doesn't matter what your fears are saying to you. It doesn't matter what your past is saying to you. None of those things matter. You get to decide today that you're going to draw your line in the sand and that you're going to run after what you're really passionate about. You're going to decide that you're going to live into the new story that you are telling yourself. I have 100% recreated who I am. The people who know me from my past, who know me from high school, who know me from college, they're like, I don't even recognize you today. You've changed so much in the best way possible, because I decided that I wanted to rebrand myself. I decided that I wanted to become a different version of myself. And so I dug in and I decided I'm all in with this. And that's really where it started. Like, I went out to Vegas. I went out to my very first convention. I had my baby with me. And I was brand new silver. And remember, it took me those 5 months to find those 3 people. But I went out there and that's where I caught the vision. And that was actually the first big step in me doing scary things, right? I went out to a city I wasn't familiar with a baby, booked it with a week's notice of convention. And I said yes, because I felt this urge, I felt this draw, and I just knew that I needed to do this. And from that day forward, I was like, no, we're all in with Plexus. Like, we are going to absolutely make this work. And so I have been reading this book, and it's called Build to Last. It's by Keith Callahan. I highly, highly recommend it. And so in this book, he talks about how when you can get your I'm unwilling to do list to get it down to almost next to nothing, that is when you are going to start accomplishing your goals. So let me explain that a little bit more, okay? And then I'm going to give you some examples of things that I have done in my business that maybe are on your I'm unwilling to do list. When we talk about that, it means there are certain things that you have said in your mind that you were unwilling to do to progress your business. Now, you probably have not written out a list of things. You probably did not sit down with pen and paper and say, here's all the things I'm not willing to do. But when stuff comes up and you say no to it instead of yes, that's on your list of I'm unwilling to do. Some of you have said, well, I'm unwilling to step out of my comfort zone. I'm unwilling to make these bold business posts. I'm unwilling to join an accountability group. I'm unwilling to read the personal growth books. I'm unwilling to make this sacrifice. I'm unwilling, whatever it is, you guys. There's so many things. I'm unwilling to stay up late. I'm unwilling to get up early in the morning. I'm unwilling to go to convention. I'm unwilling to schedule a sip and see. I'm unwilling to travel for my business. I'm unwilling to host a Zoom call. I'm unwilling to host a team training, blah, 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 blah. You fill it in with all of the things that you are unwilling to do in your business. If your list of what you're unwilling to do is really long, you're not going to be very successful in your business. But as you start crossing those things off and you start saying, I'm willing to do it, 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 and you have almost next to nothing that you're unwilling to do, you are going to skyrocket in your business. Let me give you some examples of things that I did that I took off of my I'm unwilling to do list along my journey to Emerald and then to Diamond. I found so many ways to make this work because every decision that I made was filtered through the goal. Is this going to get me closer or farther from Emerald? Is this going to get me closer or farther to Diamond? And if the answer was no, it's not going to get me closer, then I didn't do it. And if the answer was yes, it's going to get me closer, then I was 100% in. It didn't matter what kind of sacrifice or trade-off or thing that I needed to do. I was going to find a way to make it work. Perfect example is very early on in my business. It was actually the month that we hit Emerald. So it was about a year into it. And Plexus had this massive launch in May. And it also happened to fall on the same day that it was my son's second birthday. And I was like, what am I going to do? I have a large team in New Jersey. We were living in Virginia at the time. And I thought, how am I going to make this work? What a lot of people would do is say, I'm unwilling to travel on my son's birthday, and so I can't show up for that big event. But what I did is I said, this is a massive opportunity for my team. How can I turn my son's birthday party into a Plexus event? And so I traveled with my kids up to New Jersey, and my son's second birthday party was too big to miss for Plexus. Okay. We had tons of people there. Our team was there. He thought it was the greatest thing ever. He was 2, you guys. Okay. We had cake. Everybody sang to him and we made it a big deal. But I also was working my business. Okay. I found a way to take something that someone else could have used as an excuse that would hold them back from their business. I took that exact same reason and I let that propel me forward closer to my goals. Do you see how when you have a why that is so strong, you can push past anything that's coming your way? Right? It's like a train that is in high momentum that it can bust through a brick wall because it doesn't matter. It's going to find a way to make it through. So there were so many times that I had things that came up that it would be like, I call them my make it or break it moments along the way. Every single rank, I had a scenario or a situation that would happen to me that would either cause me to totally tank and give up, or I could choose to let it propel me forward. And I chose to let it propel me forward every time because I knew where I was going. So like when I first started, the month that I was going for senior gold, I had an entire gold leg drop off. If you're familiar with our compensation plan, that's like most of your team when you're going for senior gold. Lost an entire gold leg. The very first person who told me, I'm going to Hawaii with you, this is going to be amazing. All of a sudden, poof, she's gone. And so is her team. Okay. And then the next month I said, then we were moving. We moved a lot during my journey, and I was pregnant and nursing and all the things. So we moved from Florida to Virginia. And I believed this lie that I couldn't be successful in my business if my husband went to work back in an office and I didn't have him there with me. So the month that we were going for Ruby, I missed it. It was the month that we moved, and I was like, look, see, everything that I'm believing is coming true. Everything that I told myself, I can't be successful at this if he goes back into an office. I can't do this while we're moving. There's too many things, blah, blah, blah. And I had a choice to make at the end of that month. And this was back before you got points on welcome packs. So like I had to decide, what am I going to do here? Either I'm going to rally my team and we're going to have massive recruitments so that those orders can go through next month and we can hit Ruby, or I can tank and I can sabotage myself. And I chose in that moment to put my big girl panties on. I mean, I was crushed, like crying, like distraught, like I thought we were going to hit this goal and we didn't. And I turned it around and I said, you know what? This is not the end of the world. We're going to learn some lessons through this and we're going to go for it. And then we hit Ruby the next month. Okay. Another rank. Actually, it was when I was gold. I had our pastor's wife who totally she said some really terrible things to me about this. And it crushed me. I cried. I called Alita. I was like, this is so hard. Like there's been so many, every single rank, there was a scenario of something that happened that could have broken me, that I could have said, I can't do this anymore. I mean, you guys, the month that we double ranked Sapphire and Diamond, we also moved from Virginia to Tennessee. We had to have somebody else pack up our house because we were so busy with our rank ups and all this different kind of stuff. I mean, there's like thing after thing after thing after thing that could have gotten in our way. And you have to ask yourself, like, when is enough enough? Like, when are you going to draw your line in the sand? When are you going to have this clear vision for the life that you want? And when are you going to stop letting other things get in the way? You have to take those things that could be excuses and you have to allow them to propel you forward towards your dreams. And, you know, I kind of talked about this a little bit in my vision casting, thing at convention, just about like how to set goals and actually achieve them. And one of the things that I have found is that the reason that so many people are not successful in this business is because they trade what they want most right now for what they want most in the future. Right? We're so short-sighted. But if you could just open up your eyes and you could have a little bit of a bigger vision about where you want to go and what you want, you would be willing to take those things off of your I'm unwilling to do list, put them on your I'm willing to do list. You guys, the whole first year that I did this business, I did not say no to a single networking event. That's not my whole life. I don't say yes to every single thing anymore, but we wanted to go Emerald in a year. Well, the only way we were going to do that is if I networked and started expanding my network. So I said yes to every single networking opportunity, every birthday, every lunch, every dinner, every outing, every park date, everything, because I was willing to do whatever it took to get to that next place. So you have to ask yourself, what are those things on your list that you've been telling yourself that you're unwilling to do? Those things that are outside of your comfort zone, those things that maybe it's going to be a little bit of a sacrifice. I don't even like to use the word sacrifice. It's a trade-off. Okay. You're trading off something for right now for what you want most in the future. Okay, so it's not always going to look like that, but there are going to be some give and takes, right? There are going to be different things that you're going to have to be like, I'm going to have to get up early, or I'm going to have to stay up late, or I'm going to have to do this event that I don't want to do, or whatever it looks like, right? That's going to happen along the way. But when you can decide and you can say, I'm willing, 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 all of a sudden you're going to wake up and your dreams are going to become your reality because you were willing to do the things on the hard days when you didn't feel like it. Because it's not about whether you feel like it or not. Guys, did I feel like having my kid's birthday party for his second birthday, driving, going up to New Jersey, throwing a huge big party with my team? Did I feel like doing that? No, I did not feel like doing that. But that is what was required of me for my goals and my dreams. And sometimes you just have to get real creative. And so you can either see a solution for every problem, or you can see a problem for every solution. The choice is yours. So which one are you going to operate through? Okay, I think we're like coming to a close. So I will end it with that. And then Bethany, if you want to open it up for any questions or anything, we can do that.
So good. So good. I hope you guys have had like pages of notes like I have, even just mental notes. I love this. And what I hope that you guys have heard her say, and I love that even just the change in verbiage of not sacrifice, but a trade-off. Because so much of what you'll see in this business, and I've coached so many of you guys through this, is when you first start in this business, you're going to feel like I'm working so much more than what my pay looks like. And then you come to a point where it's like, I'm working the amount that my pay is equivalent to. And then you get to a point where it's like, wow, I'm getting paid for this, right? But the trade-off in the beginning is so worth it. It's so worth it. And everything that Megan said, if you did not hear this, it is a choice. And I love John Maxwell's book, Success is a Choice, because it is 1000% a choice. You always have a choice in your life and in the decisions that you make. And sometimes right up front, and I love because I've gotten like a front row seat to watch. I think Megan and I met when she was an Emerald. And so I've gotten to watch her journey from Emerald all the way to Diamond. And I will never forget the month that she double ranked Sapphire and Diamond. If you are new in this business, that is insanity. Like, it is insanity. But what I watched through Megan's journey are these conscious choices that she made. And they're not always easy choices. They're not always easy choices to make. But when you reach that other side and you are living this dream life, like Megan said, I have marked 3 dream boards off or whatever. Like, you're like, those short-term trade-offs are so worth the long-term dreams. And I feel like so oftentimes we sleep on these dreams that God has given us. If you have a dream in your heart, and y'all already know the place that I come from with this, but if you have a dream on your heart, it doesn't come from nowhere. Like, God plants dreams on your heart for a reason. And maybe I was just crazy enough to think, and it took me a while to buy into it, that God could use a network marketing business to fulfill these dreams in my life. And those dreams that you are sleeping on, please believe that God can use a network marketing business to see them through fruition. But it's a choice. God partners with us in things. He calls us to things, and it's not I'm going to do it all. It's like, I'm going to call you to something. I'm going to ask you to pick up the shovel and work and make some choices. And you've got to do those things, but it's 1000% worth it. And so if you have not seen that in my journey or in Bree's or heard it in Megan's, believe it for yourself. And you can borrow our belief for a time, but it's like Megan said, you have to eventually pick up that belief for yourself. So does anybody have any questions that you want to ask Megan about her journey, about anything? And what I love about this more than anything, and I know so many of you were able to attend Megan's session at convention, but at the heart of this, at the heart of all that she said, was a strong vision of what she saw. And so I want you guys to be able to grab a hold of your own vision. Let's see, have you ever felt a point when you were just burnt out, Megan?
Yes. I think everyone gets to that point, and here is what I will say about burnout. There is no such thing as true burnout. It is simply missed expectations. And I actually have a whole video about that I can send to Bethany and Bree. Because think about this, okay? You might be in a space in your business where you're just like, I can't do another thing. I am so tired. I'm stressed out to the max. I can't keep going. I'm like, I just need a break, right? And sometimes maybe it's just that you need to listen to your body and like go to bed, right? Like, get off your phone and just go to bed. Like, there are times that your body actually seriously needs rest, right? I'm not saying that your body doesn't ever need rest, but the burnout that we're talking about, where you feel like you can't show up anymore in your business, is because there was some sort of expectation that was missed. Because if you were in that same spot and you were 3 orders away from Emerald, how would you be feeling? How would you show up? You'd be doing everything. You'd be hosting the Zoom calls. You'd be getting on the phone with people. You would be showing up with high passion, high enthusiasm, high energy, and it wouldn't matter that you felt burnt out. You would not let Emeralds get away from you by 3 orders, right? And so that right there tells you that it is a choice. It is some sort of missed expectation that happened there. So maybe you thought you would be farther along right now. Maybe you thought it wouldn't be as hard. Maybe you thought you'd never slip in points. You guys, I lost Emerald rank for almost an entire year and then came back the next year and double ranked Sapphire Diamond. So like anything is possible, right? But I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is not what I expected it to be. So in that season, I felt burnt out because I ran so hard to Emerald, and then I thought it'd be a lot easier. And I thought all of these things were going to change when we hit Emerald. And you guys, the money's great, but like if your mind doesn't change up here, like you're going to slip back into old habits. And so that's what happened. I thought I could just take this break. It doesn't work that way, right? You have to keep showing up in order to keep maintaining the results that you want and beyond. But in my mind, I was like, can just take a break. Well, it was a missed expectation. I thought things were going to look a certain way. And when that didn't work out, I said, I'm burnt out. But I wasn't really burnt out. I just had a missed expectation. So I hope that answers your question.
I love that so much. I've heard that before too, and I've taken that so much to heart. What is the expectation I have, and what's the missed expectation, and where am I lacking to show up to fill that gap? I love that. Does anybody else have anything? How are you feeling, Megan?
Oh, I feel good.
Can you just do team calls with us all the time?
That would be so fun, wouldn't it?
I love it. I'm so, so grateful. And I know Megan said this at the beginning up front, and we'll close with this. One, I would love for you guys to drop in my chat and also in Bree's chat your takeaways from this call, because I think it is so empowering for people to hear what they have been through, the impact that it has. Because I promise you that any person's journey to diamond has not come without obstacles and overcoming things and failing and picking themselves back up. And it is so incredible to hear the impact that that has on other people, because what I hope that you hear is that Megan's journey was not a journey of perfection to diamond. It was a lot of learning. It was a lot of failing and getting back up. But what I know I love, and probably Megan, the same thing, is the lessons I have learned along the way that I hope to pass on to other people, and the impact that it has on other people. And so I know that means so much when someone who is not on our team, who has no connection to us whatsoever, and that is, if you are new here, that is so something I love so much about the Plexus culture, is that we are just so willing to see every single person win. And we don't care if it impacts our paycheck or not. We're willing to sacrifice our time to pour into other people. So I would love for you guys to kind of put that in our chat. But just so grateful, Megan, for you for pouring into us. I have loved our friendship and just learning from you, the way that you challenge me, the way that you uplift me. And so if you guys will just give her so much thanks for pouring into us tonight. And so excited to see how this impacts each of your businesses as you move forward. So hope you guys have an amazing night. Thanks again, Megan. And we will talk to you guys soon. Bye, y'all.